Donetsk remains one of the most important targets on Vladimir Putin's war board. For years, Moscow has declared the complete capture of this region as a major objective of the war. However, despite repeated offensives, enormous casualties, and several victory announcements, Ukraine still controls an important part of Donetsk. This remaining territory includes the powerful defensive line stretching from Kostiantynivka toward Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, commonly described as the Donetsk Fortress Belt. Fortress Belt is not simply a group of cities, it is a major defensive wall protecting the remaining Ukrainian-held territory in the region. Russia has deployed thousands of soldiers, artillery systems, drones, and elite military units in an attempt to break this line. However, after months of intense fighting, the defensive belt has still not completely collapsed. Russia is advancing in some areas, but the progress remains extremely slow and costly. While Russia is concentrating on the fortress belt, something more worrying for Moscow may be happening near the Dnipropetrovsk-Donetsk border. Ukrainian airborne forces are reportedly advancing southward and applying pressure toward Komar. Instead of only defending against Russian attacks, Ukraine appears to be taking the initiative and forcing Russian troops to respond to Ukrainian movements. Komar is a strategically important settlement because it is located near a major road junction and the Mokry-Yaly River. Whoever controls this area may gain an important advantage over the supply routes running through the valley. Russia currently appears to control the village, while the river provides a strong natural defensive barrier. Ukraine may therefore avoid a direct frontal assault and instead attempt to slowly surround the area, disrupt Russian logistics, and force Moscow to send more troops to defend it. Every Russian soldier sent to defend Komar is a soldier who cannot be used in the attack on the Donetsk fortress belt. This may be part of Ukraine's wider strategy. Rather than focusing only on capturing territory, Ukrainian forces may be trying to stretch the Russian army across several fronts. Moscow must now choose between concentrating its best forces in Donetsk or spreading them across different sectors to prevent Ukrainian breakthroughs elsewhere. A similar situation is developing farther south near Hulyaipole and the Zaporizhia region. Russian forces have continued trying to advance westward, possibly with the long-term objective of threatening Orikhiv and eventually moving closer to Zaporizhia city. However, Ukrainian counterattacks have reportedly forced Russia to commit additional reserves to this sector. These troops might otherwise have been sent to support the main offensive in Donetsk.
Russia has repeatedly claimed major success around Kostiantynivka, but the battlefield situation appears far more complicated. Russian troops have reportedly infiltrated several parts of the city, while Ukrainian forces continue conducting clearing operations and counterattacks. In modern warfare, entering a neighborhood does not always mean controlling it. Small groups can occupy ruined buildings, raise flags, and record propaganda videos. But without secure supply lines and permanent positions, full control cannot be confirmed. Many cities on the front line have become unstable gray zones. Russian troops may operate in one neighborhood, while Ukrainian soldiers and drones remain active only a few streets away. The fighting around Chasiv Yar presents a similar picture. Russia may control much of the town following a long siege, but Ukrainian forces are still reportedly holding some positions and launching counterattacks. Russia continues to move forward, but its progress is slow and comes with extremely heavy losses. The central question is whether Russia can capture the entire Donetsk fortress belt during 2026. Based on the slow pace described in the provided material, this appears unlikely. Russia may eventually capture more territory around Kostiantynivka, but Kramatorsk and Sloviansk are much larger and more heavily defended. Capturing both cities would require massive urban battles, strong logistics, thousands of replacement troops, and the ability to maintain pressure across several fronts simultaneously.
Russia's biggest challenge may be manpower. Battlefield casualties remain extremely high, while the recruitment of new contract soldiers is reportedly slowing. If Russia continues losing experienced soldiers faster than it can replace them, Moscow may find it difficult to sustain multiple major offensives. Russian military machine is still operating, but the figures suggest that maintaining this level of warfare is becoming increasingly difficult. Despite these problems, Russia still possesses a dangerous advantage in drone warfare. An elite Russian drone formation known as Rubicon is reportedly targeting Ukrainian vehicles, supply routes, drone teams, and command positions behind the front line. Instead of attacking only Ukrainian trenches, these drone operators hunt targets many kilometers behind the battlefield, making it extremely difficult for Ukraine to transport ammunition, supplies, and wounded soldiers. Fiber-optic FPV drones are especially dangerous because they are controlled through physical cables instead of normal radio signals. This makes them extremely difficult to stop using electronic warfare systems. As a result, important roads around Kostiantynivka have become deadly drone corridors. Ukrainian vehicles are covered with steel cages, robotic ground vehicles are increasingly being used for supplies, and wounded soldiers may sometimes have to be evacuated on foot. Battlefield situation is therefore highly complicated. Russia is advancing in certain areas, but it is paying an enormous price in soldiers and equipment. Ukraine is losing ground in some sectors, but it is also reclaiming settlements, launching counterattacks, and forcing Russia to divert strategic reserves. The Donetsk fortress belt has not fallen, and the Ukrainian pressure near Komar may demonstrate that Kiev is still capable of creating serious challenges for Moscow away from Russia's NATO offensive. Next phase of the battle will depend on three major factors: which side controls the supply routes, whether Russia can continue replacing its battlefield losses, and whether Ukraine can maintain pressure across several fronts. So, what do you think? Can Russia finally break the Donetsk fortress belt in 2026? Or will Ukrainian counterattacks force Moscow to change its strategy? Share your opinion in the comments. For more defense updates, military aviation news, and detailed battlefield analysis, like this video, subscribe to Skyjet Wings, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next report.